talk to him, perhaps we can reason, perhaps we can help him steer the house right. But he cannot return at the head of an invading force of Peak Knights.
That, in some cases, is an act of war, sending troops into other people's lands. And that would be exactly what he's doing. That's the reason why Baratheon set upon the trial that we were part of, just because we sent our troops through his land.
A trial that I also want to remind everyone of. That Gorman Peak did his best to annihilate us in.
And I'm not denying that. And he wouldn't either.
Then do you realize that this is simply not possible?
Sits forward. Then, I'm going to propose it the other way to you. I will stay and try to convince him to come back without the army. I said, you can feel you are free to go. I'm not going to command you to stay.
Let him sighs deeply as he sinks down into the chair, leaning heavily on his cane and looking quite sad at Laenus. And he says, Laenus, dear boy, I do fear for you. Whatever you may think of me, whatever my reputation, I do genuinely care.
I know you care.
You cannot be alone with Halen like this. He has already swayed you to his cause. You were prepared to let Peak Knights into our lands because he wished it. Do you see the dangers of this?
I still plan to speak to him about the Knights regardless. I do not feel comfortable with Peak Knights at our door.
You were supposed to speak about that already today, Laenus, and you didn't. He has power over you. His piousness, perhaps a guilty conscience, I don't know. But you seem heavily inclined to do what he says. And if I leave you here with him, we might not see you again.
Oh, you will be seeing me again, Uncle. That I can make sure of. But, as said, you may stay or you may go. I am not budging. I do appreciate your worry, though. All of it. I know how much you care and all that you have done. You know others do not see it. You have always been there.
If he returns here with Peak Knights, if they find us, this side hall might well have a new name if we cross swords here, which I do fear is quite a possibility.
Cross swords here. Now how many things have we broken in that case? As much you've expressed your worry, I do not feel you have more to add. I already understand what you say, and I do not want Peak Knights at our door. And I'll certainly see what I can do to convince him that they are unneeded. But I will stay. I will speak to the young Peak. I will speak to him. And I shall return.
Alaric shakes his head and says, well, if you're foolish enough to go and talk to the young Peak without us, I might as well stay and make sure he doesn't kill you where you stand.
Decim gets up.
I will ignore that comment.
I need to make ready to leave.
Very well. I'll be back only a few days after you. A week at most.
As he walks away, he'll say, "This is a very dangerous game that is being played, Linus.
Everything
dangerous.
you do is also dangerous. Do not act like it's not."
Decim turns around. What would you have me do? Open the gates for Peak?
No.
Then why have you acted in a way where I would be forced to do so? Or condemn you too? That would rip the house apart completely. You're betting your life in an attempt to force me to do this.
I'm not trying to force.
You have backed us into a very awkward corner, though.
Take it as you will then.
I will see if our master alchemist wishes to return with me. Or with you, then.
I will be sure that if he does not go back with you, that he'll come with us.
And Decim looks over to Manfer. Manfer, dear boy, could you help me with some of the packing, please?
Manfer looks to Alaric.
Alaric gives him a nod. Simple nod of, yeah, you can go ahead.
Sure, he'll go and help then.
Okay. That will be what Decim do for the rest of the day. Basically, is pack up his things and get ready to leave.
Sure. The rest of you, will you do anything particular?
Alaric will basically stay at Linus's side.
Except he's going for a bath.
He'll stay outside the door.
And we'll...
At one point during this, though, Koala will sort of come and peck at Alaric. Sort of cock his head, bob it, and then fly away.
That's right, gaming dog. Kavaler.
Elaine's having a bath right now.
Flying away, like, follow me, kind of?
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah. Alright, Alaric will follow. He's used to that shit.
Yeah. He will quickly have a meet with Decim, who looks about as happy as you would think. And he will look at Alaric and say, "So Alaric, this is quite a problem. You seem to realize the gravity of this situation better than Linus does. If it comes to it, if it actually comes to it, I might need you to size. Ensure Linus' safety, first and foremost. Make sure that he is not taken advantage of, how easy that is, or at least kidnapped, put in a sack somewhere. I trust that you will do your utmost to defend him, even if he does not want it."
Alaric nods and says, I defended the house years ago, from Peak. I'll defend it now, even if it's more personal than I'd prefer.
do what you can to steel his resolve in this regard. Peak Knights on our lands is devastating.
Alaric nods and says, if they manage to get within the gates, 30 knights on horseback can be the challenge of 300 trained men.
Do not let them take Lanus away. Do not agree to any sort of shortcuts, any sort of roundabouts, anything that would bring you through any other way than the straight way back to Winter's Respite. If you have the slightest inkling that they are trying to waylay you in an attempt to kidnap Lanus, I trust you will do what is necessary to ensure that he gets away.
Alaric nods. Even if I have to knock the boy out and put him on the back of my horse.
Good. He cannot fall into peak hands. It will be the end of us.
I mean, just imagine Bree being the lady of the house. Or who would it fall to first?
It would be.
It would be. You.
There's some nods. Yes, it would. So you understand how serious I am when I ask you to make sure that that does not happen in this case.
Alaric nods. Oh, so help me. The ancestor that came up with Aegon, he'd be rolling around in the ground if he knew what was happening.
It is not that dire yet. It might be averted, but we need to prepare for the worst. Lanus thinks he can handle this, and I'll give it to him. He is confident and very stubborn. It is almost as if it runs in the family somehow. Grits his teeth. I do hope he is man enough for the task. If he is not, well, you'll see to it. I trust you in this.
Alaric nods.
Then at this point also, Manikai, if I don't know if, because I didn't talk to Tina, if she actually left some way of Decim to contact Nima, because we discussed some things between sessions before.
You can write her a note.
Yeah, he'll probably write her a note.
Sure, you can write her a note and send it to her at some point.
Yep, it'll be written in Bravosi or something. So it's fewer that can read, maybe. But although many people can read Bravosi in this place, so. But yeah, he'll send her a note.
Mm-hmm. In the bathing room, Lanus is having a bath. Sort of behind a screen, he can hear someone else bathing. There's so Ashra's voice as he's whistling, humming some sort of tune about the Longthorn doing something amazing. There's quite a lot of them.
Does Lanus recognise any of them?
The tunes? Yeah, he's probably heard the melody before, but I mean, he does some music. I suppose maybe you would know one of them.
He certainly does music. Lanus might hum along slightly.
Huh. He'll sort of stretch. You always had quite the musical talent, didn't you?
I like to think so, I do.
It's a shame that you weren't a knight. would have had a fun time squaring with one such as you, I imagine.
I can tell the songs of the night I'm with.
The song night. That has a ring to it, doesn't it?
I suppose it does.
Shrubs and stuff.
I thought she exists for a moment.
I am so sore.
Been busy.
Yes. I mean, who wouldn't? Say life is tough for a Tyrell knight at times. Reputation and such. You understand?
Of course.
I'll be returning to Highgarden soon. I'll want to speak to the Longthorn a bit while he's still there before he runs off to the Westerlands again.
More Tawnies.
As well, I don't imagine they would have a winter Tawny, but you can't really see that he's strong because we can hear the water move.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, maybe he's tired of whatever fun there is in Highgarden. Why do you think I'm out here?
Perhaps. I'm sure you could ensure he has a chance to relax himself.
There are plenty of people who ensure that he has a time to relax. You may think that I am, drawing looks, but have you ever seen the Longthorn?
Not personally, no. I've heard many I heard many flock to him though.
Sight for sore eyes. Man's blessed. By gods and men. So they say that the world will never see his like again. Some say that he will never pass.
Well, that would make Tawnies especially dull.
There's a reason they now have a second place. So, have you been busy as well? I understand you're married, but that stops few men, huh?
He lets out a very small laugh to that. Certainly not as busy as you've been.
So, flattery. You're still young. You'll catch on soon enough. Why, perhaps you should, sometime bring you and Elric to Highgarden. I could show you around. Last time didn't really get to see you. That was the Peak boy, the Karen boy. Who
What do you say?
showing the ropes.
Yes. He's certainly his time there certainly loosened him up a little bit.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you could say that.
In more ways than one.
Well, stretches. I suppose I'll just soak for a few more hours before I leave.
I hope your travels go well,
Yes.
and they're not too dull for you.
I won't be. I'll take a few days. Detours. So stretches out. Just lays in his bath. Doesn't really say too much. Just keeps humming.
Mm-hmm.
Relaxing.
Aims to enjoy the bath as well. Having it, if the servants would allow him, quite very warm.
Oh yeah. They'll come and fill warm water.
Because Lanes does enjoy a pretty damn warm bath.
Doesn't seem like Ashra really speaks their language, but he just gestures and is rude until he gets what he wants.
Mm-hmm. But being resistant to heat does make you enjoy warm baths quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it certainly does. Oh, eventually, if Lannis stays a few hours, Ashra will get out.
Sure. Lanes doesn't have more to ask him.
Yes, he's sort of, he's cloth around him. A bit of a robe, really. Silk and sort of the Tyrell colors with golden roses on it. He walks to just stick his head into your room. To see probably a very different mood from his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of a oh, fuck everything kind of mood.
Big guy. They said you they said you said my name. I'll be leaving soon. Sin.
Halldamir nods and says, that's why I wanted to get your attention. I wanted to say goodbye.
Ah, should have joined me for a bath.
Smirks and said, that happened a few times. I've learned my lesson.
Shrugs. All right. You coming with me? Going to Highgarden. A few detours, perhaps, but gotta speak to the Longthorn. See what he's been up to in Westerlands.
Halldamir shakes his head and says, as much as I would revel in seeing the Longthorn again, I'm afraid I have to look after Lanus for a while. A few things have gone awry in our plans, and have to make sure he doesn't get himself killed these days.
Frowns as he looks to Manfred and says, think of the boy.
Halldamir smiles and says,
Great fun to have a traveling companion or two. Looks behind, says, you and Decim could come.
Doesn't look like he's in a partying mood at the moment. He will say, I am afraid, Lord Tyrell, that it is simply impossible at the moment. Pressing matters at home, I'm afraid.
Frowns like this. Then again.
Decim sighs. It comes with ruling over a castle, I'm afraid. There's always some fire you need to put out.
Should get yourself a Longthorn.
oh, if only.
Decim wistfully thinks of that possibility.
If only it was that easy.
Shrugs. We've led the Hightower steward over our keep for God knows half a year at this point. Past, well, we had some of your people. It is good as long as the person who is responsible for things knows that they can't mess up, or you'll be mean to them. Sort of smiles slightly. Though, of course, that's just an illusion. We would never hurt anyone.
Halldamir grins and says, oh, of course not.
So, I mean, if you ever need a break, just send me a raven, I'll come and I'll take care of it for a few months.
Decim looks over. One thing before you leave, Lord Tyrell.
Yes?
He sort of moves over a little bit.
You had a good talk, remember?
He nods. I don't know how much of what has been talked about here you have picked up on. Myself,
Some.
my language capacity is somewhat limited in these languages, but I have picked up some things that might be of interest to tell the Longthorn if you get the opportunity.
Says I will.
As far as I understood it, there has been more development over the sea to the east. As far as I understood it, a marriage has been done to was it the princess of Tyrosh? Is there a princess? Was it like the
Yeah.
The doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically,
a marriage has
They
been
don't use that.
arranged to the princess of Tyrosh, and lots of mercenaries and ships are being hired. It is imminent, I fear.
Well, I can tell you as much that the young prince has declared a winter tourney in Gulltown.
That's interesting.
Regional. We're not invited, but all the knights of the Vale will be equipped and armed for, well, a month perhaps.
Hmm.
Very close to the capital.
Yes.
Odd.
Smart,
I
if you
think
plan
the young
something.
prince does not agree with his elders or his brothers.
Seems the young are rebelling these days.
Yes, that is true, isn't it?
Doesn't. Just,
Things
oh
are not
boy,
what
is
they
it.
once was.
They do grow up. Just wish they had some of the wisdom.
Not. I know the feeling. Yes. She looks to Alaric. Slight frown. Life is short and should be enjoyed.
Alaric nods and says, sadly, with all the plays going on in the marches, and what's happening overseas, I'm seriously worried about the overall safety of my tiny house.
Should the worst
Just
come
shoots
to
him
the
a
worst-
look. Not that
Instead of look
tiny.
to you, should the worst come to it, you know that I could find you a place. As I did with your son. The Tyrell court is large, and there are worse ways to just be unfortunate.
Out of character, he's basically saying, yeah, if the Caladan house falls, yeah, we can totally get you into the Tyrell house.
I know what he's saying. I know what he's saying.
I have cousins.
Doesn't.
Longthorn will
So-
adopt you, it's all good.
Sedum says we will do our best to ensure that Goblin Peak does not gain control of the marshes.
For not, but
But indeed, if the worst comes to worst, I do thank you for the support you have shown us, Lord Harald. It is appreciated deeply.
and I sometimes get to have a little bit of fun too.
Does a somewhat sour smile back. Yes. Dirty messant. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know.
I don't even know what that is, Griffith. Your
God.
big word.
Damn it, Grimmeth.
Yeah, alright. Well, then Desmond will do a courteous bow towards Sir Ashra, and
That's will bow in his robe.
I really like Ashra.
I know.
I really like Ashra. He's a charming rogue.
To put his stuff on.
Good for your destiny point invested into that quality.
Oh no, that was the best.
Yeah, no, he has
one.
been. He's been great.
Yeah.
Great to us. And a great character. So yeah,
Definitely.
you know, if Desmond survives the coming civil war, we're in the house.
When I get married to Samuel Tarley, I hope you all say the same thing.
Yeah.
This is fucking insane. Everything that's going on. Oh man, I am so.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You. You're doing all of this to me.
You're,
Snorted.
you're absolutely welcome, Jonas. I'm glad I can be of assistance.
I'm gonna have ulcers.
Alaric will say to Sir Ashra, well, once you get to High Garden, let me know how my son's doing.
Well, Hans says, well, probably still, tending horses.
Ah,
You know what?
Maybe one day you could, says if your house can scrape together the funds, you could set him up for breeding. Oh, I mean, the horses. I'll take care of the other thing.
Alaric nods. Says, well, I've certainly enjoyed your company. And it's going to be a shame to miss it.
He'll be safe. Sure. Slight nod, slight smile. These are rare, serious moments. I'll make sure of it.
Lark nods. Says, in the meantime, you can tell Longthorn I'll try and avoid the marches falling into chaos.
Yes, I'm sure he would appreciate that, although I suspect he would, at the moment, refer you to Lord Baratheon, as he is the Lord of the Marshes.
Lara kind of gives a slight roll of the eyes and says, "Well, that's Lord Baratheon. He's not the most fun, is he?"
He's a fan, though.
No, the Stormlands are a cold, rainy, and dreary place. I have been there once, and I don't think I will ever return. Riverlands, though, that's a real place to be. Beyond that, though, there's one thing Longthorn does, it is do things right. And should a Reacherman be elected the Lord of the Marshes, you could expect a lot more attention to be directed your way.
Lark nods.
At least that's something.
Lark will nod and say, duly noted.
You nod as he basically drops his robe and begins putting on clothes.
And we are all very impressed.
He's got an 8-pack. He is shredded.
Oh, yeah, of course. He was the only one who could somewhat keep up with Galt.
It's true. Yes, what a V-line.
Oh, yeah.
I heard
Bill.
they took your horse. So yeah.
Alright, frowns. Slight panic.
Shrugs. Greener pastures or some such. Well, at least I managed to keep track of mine. So, I'll see you later.
See you later.
Good
Lark.
luck with all this business.
Yeah.
So we take his leave.
Lark will go find out what's happening with Hugo. That horse was expensive.
Go to the stables. I suppose you'd follow Desmond then,
Probably.
right?
Yeah.
If assuming Desmond is going to the stables.
Yeah, and Desmond is leaving.
Check his luggage. Sure. You go sort of out to the stables, and you see, quite right, that the horses you came with aren't here.
Lark will find the stable boy.
He's you know, walking around, just slacking off right now.
Lark will pick the boy up by the scruff of his shirt.
Help!
And points to where Hugo's stable was. And demand to know where he is.
I don't know, sir. I'm just a simple boy. Please, just put me down. I can't afford another shirt. My tunic is the finest rough spun, but
Finest rough spun. How did those words go together?
It's a rough spun copper could buy.
I don't know where he went. There's a man who came and took him.
Just looks around. Who?
I don't know him. I promise. He was a visitor. He said he had your leave.
Where are the horses? Where did he take them?
I don't know. I just watched the stables.
Well, did he take them out of the stables and out outside the gates?
Yes, my lords. That did happen. There was guards with him, though. You know,
What-
those strange ones.
What symbol did the man who said had our leave? What symbol did he have?
Symbol?
On his shield, on his tabard.
Well, he didn't have a shield. What?
His tabard.
I don't think he had one of those either.
God damn it, kid.
It's just a sort of a dark leather tunic and sort of a strange, sort of like an hourglass. You know, with sand in it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only symbol I saw. I swear.
What colour was the hourglass? Was the sand normal colour?
She says, "Oh, it wasn't a real hourglass. It was just. Could you please put me down, sir? I don't.
Alaric puts him down.
I don't
Straightens
remember
out his
very
tunic.
well right now. I'm so worried about my tunic.
I will stab this kid. Don't make me stab this kid, Malachi. Don't make me do it.
Alaric will put him down, like straighten out his tunic and say, right
Okay.
now, do you know
Alright,
anything
so-
else? Like through gritted teeth?
That's why it was a symbol, like an hourglass on his tunic.
Would that tell Decim anything, Malachi?
Yeah.
Doesn't probably roll a memory or a knowledge, depending on
I
what you
can
want.
do a memory check. Don't have
Memory
a
would be easy.
memory would be easier. Okay, well, I can try memory. I have decent memory. I have actually pretty good memory. I've never. This is the
Funny
first time I'm
memory.
rolling for memory. I think.
Well, it's because you generally remember things.
I think
Turns
it might have
out.
happened towards the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah. I think so too.
Tell me what I remember.
Well,
Okay.
hourglass, sort of in a dark color on a leather tunic. That might be the symbol of the Iron Bank, which you've seen when you were visiting in Bravos.
Decim leans on his cane. Looks over to Alaric.
As it says, "Oh, I don't remember much more, sirs. If maybe something could be done to make me not worry so much about my tunic, then maybe I could remember something more."
Decim looks at him.
Kid sort of moves a little bit away. "I'll scream, sir."
You will most certainly not scream. And even if you do, who would even understand you? I will do an intimidation check on this kid to make him tell me what the fuck it is he knows.
This kid's composure is actually 27.
My God!
Literal
He is the Bree version of like
It's just like Will Tower.
Yep.
He's like
"Sit
spectacle.
down, sir. I will mess you up."
You what?
You fucking what?
Oh, fucking peasants. Yeah, he stumbles back and sort of leans against, sort of edges up against the side of the sort of stable. He's like, I swear, I saw him talking to someone.
Yes.
Sir, it's the lady of the house. She pointed out the horses.
Licenia whore.
I would